Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know, I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Of course, y'all know out there, the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk with entertainers, artists, actors, film directors, everything. I am super excited to be introducing my next guest to you guys. He is award-winning stand-up comedian and writer. He is a filmmaker and he is an activist as well. And what I just learned, obviously, a little jokester and prankster. But everyone, please give a really good warm welcome to Samson McCormick. Hi, Samson.
Hey, Simone. Hey, listeners.
How are you?
I am doing so good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I am so glad to have you on the show today. Thank you for giving me your time. It is such an honor to have you on the show, and my listeners are going to be super excited to be learning about you today.
Thank you.
Oh, of course. Of course. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fire the first question at you. What began your passion for filmmaking and directing?
Great question to start. The thing that really drove my passion for film directing and filmmaking is because since I've grown up, and I'm from Southeast Washington, D.C. originally, we haven't had the most positive portrayals of Black men in particular in media, and the Black family, and stories that really tell the truth about our experience. And so that's what made me want to tell more of our stories.
Absolutely. And I have to agree with that. We definitely, especially growing up, definitely did not have, the best media representation of Black men and Black families as well. There was very little of it. So I can definitely relate with you right there.
Right. And not just, and another thing too, I want to clear up too, is we often say positive portrayals. And I do think positive portrayals are very important. But I also think that it is important for us to claim our challenges, claim our complexities. We look at white people and other cultural groups in media, and they get to be complicated. If you see a storyline and there's a Black man who's a drug dealer, it's, oh, he's a drug dealer, but he may have been doing that because that's all that he knew, and he's trying to provide for his family or whatever. So it's a lot, but it's just important for us to be there and be telling those stories.
Right, and you're right. It is important for us to be shown as just as complex and complicated and just as beautifully flawed as as you said, white people are on everything. So that's so true, and I agree with you on that. And that does bring me to my number 2 question. As a director, what type of stories are you wanting to bring to the forefront?
Oh, so another area that I think is very important is our stories about Black, gay, and queer people, because I'm a Black gay. I'm one of the Black gays.
As they would say, right? As they would used to say, right?
I'm one of them. I'm one of them funny people. One of them people who got a little sugar in their tank. But it's there's a certain joy that I would like to bring to that narrative, because when you hear about Black gay people in particular, we're often looked at as victims, or people who are complicated above any sort of I don't know what term I want to use right now, but basically we're looked at as outcasts, basically, that no one can relate to, that are hopeless, and that's not true. I think that in order to be Black and queer, Black and a woman, Black and disabled, or any of those three, or Black and trans, it takes a tremendous amount of strength. It takes a tremendous amount of humanity to show up the way that we show up. And it's just important to also include those elements of humor. We spend a lot of time as Black people laughing, even at some things that people consider to be trauma. um, we've survived those things because we've been able to laugh at them, and that's what makes us so funny. And so it's being able to tell really important stories, but also include that element of humor in there, so it's much easier to digest. I want people to look at authentic stories, but still feel uplifted while we navigate our realities.
I love that. And I love that. And I have to agree with you there. You know, definitely we need those types of stories. I mean, humor, I agree with you on social levels. First, I agree with you on the trauma with laughing. That's just how I think, you're right. This is how Black people just, get through our trauma was by laughing.
Hmm.
We couldn't just be all sulky and all that all the time. We just had to have something to laugh at, even if it was like the simplest thing. At least we were laughing, we're expressing some sort of joy and everything. So
Hmm.
but we definitely media, Hollywood television definitely needs to get more into showing a 4 dimensional Black queer people on screen, because I mean, I don't understand why we haven't gotten to that point yet, but hopefully we will.
Ooh, I could tell you a few reasons, but we're gonna keep it positive on
Oh,
here.
I can name a few reasons too, but I'm just saying it's I find it insulting, that they, sometimes when I watch, TV and shows, it's, and they do have um, gay people on there. It's like a one dimensional. They're, they're just a one dimensional character, and I was like, I even get offended. It's like they're not one dimensional. They're just as humanly beautiful as everyone else and humanly flawed as everyone else. They're
Hmm.
complex and complicated. They have their tragedies, they have their ups, they have their downs, and they have just as understanding and sensibility as anybody else. And why are we not showing them as a whole front? There's never
Hmm.
one side to anyone's story. There's so many layers. That's what makes us human. We have so many layers to us.
Right. And another thing that does, that excellent point that you just sprung up, is that it's really a really great point that people overlook, and it's because the media has portrayed us as one dimensional. And that's what happens when you stereotype and stigmatize groups of people,
Hmm. Agreed.
is they
Agreed.
become one dimensional because, oh, they're like this way because they're criminals. They're like this because they live in the ghettos and all these
Right.
horrible things. And it really does strip the dimensions. And I think Black people, queer people, women, again,
Hmm.
any of those minority groups, um, are more dimensional than anybody else. I mean,
Exactly.
you have to be in order to survive in this world.
Hmm.
The way we code switch and the way we create culture and then have it stolen from us and have to go create something else and have to, take a little bit of something and make a whole, or take a little bit of nothing and make a whole lot of something out of. I mean, that takes a lot of dimensions.
It does. Oh, it does. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bringing me to my number 3 question. You wrote and starred in a short film called Love the One You're With. Love the title, by the
Yeah.
way. I want to know more about the short film, and I'm pretty sure my audience wants to know more about it too. Can you explain and tell us a little bit more about it?
Oh, I love the one you're with. Um, oh Lord, hold on one second. Oh,
So yeah, can you tell us more about the short film?
yes, so Love the One You're With. Love the One You're With is a new film that is on Amazon Prime. I'm really happy with the film because it tells an authentic Black gay story about two men who are in a relationship with each other. And the relationship is hella complicated. Um, it's relatable, I think, to anybody who watches it because it's a story that tells about scenarios that occur when we don't communicate with each other honestly. And I don't know, it takes an honest look at a lot of relationship dynamics So I would just encourage people to check it out. It's funny. Of course, it's funny because, I love humor and oh God.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing short film, and I definitely highly encourage my audience to check it out. As you just said, it is on Amazon Prime, so I know
Oh,
90. Mhm.
oh, look, and I should tell you this too. So two different things. So when we were shooting it, we shot it in the middle of the pandemic. Well, I mean, we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Of
It's
course.
really the new normal, basically. But when people didn't know what was going on, we snuck out and shot it. And we shot it over the course of a week. And when we came to edit it, the entire movie had disappeared.
Oh no.
Yeah, it disappeared. So I had to go and rent all of the homes that we shot in again. I had to rent the cafe scene was the only one that did not disappear, thankfully, because that cafe was probably one of the most expensive um, venues in the film. And so I had to go and rent everything again, and then we had to shoot all.
Hmm?
Okay, so so the funny story about Love the One You're With is I rented all of the venues and everything, the homes that we shot in, and then we went to edit it, and the entire thing
Yes.
completely disappeared. So I was devastated.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was devastated because the first time that we shot, it was so much raw emotion in it. And there was a fight scene in the movie, not a domestic violence fight scene, but
Of
they were
course.
just arguing, and the camera like followed them around the house, and it was some great cinematography. And I don't know. For some reason, we just had to shoot all over again. And I'm happy that we did because since it was COVID, we didn't get a chance to rehearse in person the way you do sometimes when you work on a film. So I just look at it as a very hands-on dress rehearsal. And we finally released it. And once we released it, it has become one of the top streaming LGBT films on Amazon Prime this year.
Yes.
Hey now.
Hey,
And
yes, praise it. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about, leaving a mark.
yeah, and I'm really excited about it. And it's number 13 on Amazon Prime in the United Kingdom.
Oh, wow. What? Oh my God, what an achievement. What an achievement. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And I have to praise you for your dedication for doing the film all over again. I mean, because I think most just directors would just probably just be just devastated and just kind of just let the whole thing go.
Oh
But
hell no. I wasn't about to do that. And I paid for it out of my pocket. So,
right, he's like, look, we're gonna get some results today.
well, I'm really just happy that I had the money to shoot it all over again because I spent over $11,000 on that movie.
Ooh.
And for an independent project where one person is one black person is writing the check, one black gay writer, director, visionary, that was a huge sacrifice. And so you know, I this process reminded me of a lot. Number one, it was the importance of passion working on a project. Number two, how important gratitude is when we're working on anything. Because at first I was complaining, like, "Oh my God, why do I keep having to spend money on food?" And we got to rent another lens for this camera. And then it got to a point where I really had to give thanks for being able to pay for the project.
Ah, that is
And
awesome.
yeah, and to have people who were willing to show up and shoot the whole thing all over again, and that they were um willing to do that. And this was before the vaccines and stuff came out, so it was that. And if anybody can take anything away from that, it's you know sometimes I think life will throw you a little curveball, and you got to be willing to play a little ball. But if you persist, it is well worth it.
That is amazing. That is amazing that you persist and still got the film done. And again, I highly encourage my audience, go watch it. It is streaming on Amazon. Again, that is Love the One You're With. And of course, it's starred and wrote by the amazing Samson McCormick. So make sure you guys check it out on Amazon.
And directed by NAACP Theater Award nominee Spencer M. Collins. He directed that one. And he's always my director, and he does a great job.
Love it. Love it. All right, so I am actually going to do something a little bit differently this time. Number 4 question is actually a really huge think piece. So I'm actually going to save that for last because I know you're going to have a lot to say about it. So I know you're going to have a lot to say about it. So I'm saving that for the last question. So I'm going to go on to the number 5. Where can the J Lounge audience follow you and your work?
Oh, so the best places to follow are on YouTube. Just get on YouTube, type in Samson McCormick. That's Samson with a P. So that's SAMPSON, and then McCormick. And, I have the whole catalog of work is not on there, but you can see at least 12 years of my work over the years on YouTube. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Tidal, and Instagram. If you get on Instagram, and you can follow me at Samson McCormick on Instagram. And I feel like I'm missing something. I also have other films on YouTube, and I have this is besides the point, so I should just go ahead on and plug this really quick. Another major film that will be out very soon called B-Boy Blues, and I did that one with Jussie Smollett from Empire.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, so that one will be out soon.
Oh, that is huge. That is huge. Yes. And it actually brings on to my next question, number 6. What future projects are you involved with that you can dish about to the J Lounge?
Oh yeah, so I just told y'all about one of them. So yeah,
yes, you did. I'm excited. That's huge. That is huge.
I'm super excited. Jussie and I have known each other for a long time.
Wow.
Like years, probably 10 or 12 years.
Wow.
I knew him before Empire, okay?
He just wants everyone to know. He knew him before the Empire fame.
Yeah, we go way back.
That's awesome.
And we did a film called B-Boy Blues, and it's based on the 1994, it's a legendary book by James Earl Hardy, and it's a classic Black gay love story. And so during the 90s, there were 2 major books geared towards the Black gay audience, and people who were interested in learning more about that experience. And that was Elin Harris's Invisible Life, and then you had James Earl Hardy's B-Boy Blues. And so I had the pleasure of being able to be a part of B-Boy Blues. I was also in the off-Broadway version of the stage play. So that'll be out soon. And just, y'all follow me on Instagram to stay tuned, because of course I'll be, keeping everybody updated there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I am definitely going to be there and listening. Definitely going to be there for listening. Yes, I'm so excited. Going on to your number 7 question. What goals do you hope to still achieve in your career?
Oh, some of those I can't tell you just yet. But some of the ones that the folks will be seeing me doing in the near future is, I really would like to see B-Boy Blues go far. I do believe it's going to have a huge impact in film and media. A few years ago we had Moonlight. I do believe it's going to have sort of the same impact as Moonlight.
Ooh,
Um,
we're talking awards, people. We're talking awards.
we're talking awards, baby.
Yes, yes. Manifest it.
Yeah, and I should also tell people this isn't my first time at the rodeo because I've been in this industry for over 20 years. And in 2017, I did another film called I Live Here, and that one was nominated for an Oscar award in an independent narrative category. So when you hear about films, you usually hear best actor, best actress, film of the year. And people don't know there are about 100 other categories. And so this was still an Oscar nominated film. And, hopefully this time we get a Golden Globe or,
Ooh.
an Emmy or something, um, I definitely have been in the business long enough to deserve one of those. And one of my major goals is to win a couple of NAACP Image Awards.
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
God, that is my dream as well. We have the
yeah,
same
you're
dream, my
gonna do
friend.
it. You're
Oh
gonna do
yes.
it. Hopefully we'll be there and we'll win ours together.
Oh, that would be a beautiful moment, wouldn't it?
That
That
would
would
be
be Black
so
excellence
wonderful.
at its finest.
Yes, yes, yes. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, Simone. You're gonna
Yes.
do it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, prepare because a dawn of a new day is coming. It is
That's
coming.
right.
Y'all can't
That's
fight it no
right.
longer. It is coming whether y'all want it to or not. A dawn
Well,
of a new day.
it's been here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we are just now really recognizing how much power we have, how necessary we are,
Exactly.
and so it's, we our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents, they endured a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and so we are here now really recognizing and truly claiming our excellence, and I think also healing a lot of the things that we were taught out of survival so that now we can thrive.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that. And I so agree with you. We are just,
Hmm.
yes, we are kings and queens. And I think we're realizing that and that power is coming out.
That's
So,
right.
and I love it. And I absolutely love it. All
That's right.
right. Going on to the eighth question. What other passions do you have outside of directing?
Oh, so thank you. So my number one passion is stand-up comedy. I am still doing shows, but I slowed down just a tad. I've been a stand-up comedian for 20 years. I was one of the first Black gay stand-up comedians in the country.
Wow.
Um, some of my major accomplishments with that have been, of course, uh, headlining, being the first Black uh, LGBTQ artist to headline at the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American
Wow.
History and Culture. And so I've been there 4 times. I will also be inducted into the museum soon. Um, what else have I done? I was also the first to headline at the Howard Theater, the historic Howard Theater. And the significance of the Howard Theater is, think about a Black LGBTQ artist headlining a venue like the Apollo.
Oh my
Well,
God.
the Howard Theater is in that same vein. So, you had a small cluster of Black theaters that the major Black entertainers of the 40s and 50s were headlining at when we couldn't stay in certain towns or perform in certain venues because of our skin color. And so I was one of the first. Well, I was the first Black LGBTQ artist to do the Howard Theater, the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, um, my 2014 album, uh, which I'm not going to repeat the name of that on here.
Okay.
It has, well, yeah, it was a finalist for a Grammy nomination in 2014 for Best Comedy Album. So I've been out for a long time, headlining and performing all around the world. And that's my number one passion.
That is amazing. And I did not know I had that much of a Black excellence on my show. I feel even more honored that I already did. Wow, that is an achievement. And you have so much more to go. That is
Yeah,
incredible. That is
yeah. I'm 36, and this is what a lot of people don't know. And I was freaking out in my earlier 30s because when you're younger, I think you kind of project this idea onto life that you'll be a certain place at a certain
yep,
age because we're told that's what success looks like.
sure.
And most people do their best work in their 40s and 50s.
And that's true. And that's true. And it's like I said, you accomplished already so much already, but you still have so much more to go. And I just know that's got to be exciting, and it's got to be something to definitely look forward to. And so I cannot wait to see what else you achieve. I'm a fan, huge fan.
Yes,
So
thank you, thank you. The best is yet to come, for us both. So we just got to
agreed.
keep doing what we do.
Oh, agreed. All right, going on to the number 9 question. Name 3 people who influenced your career and why.
Oh, so Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers was someone who I watched on television growing up, and even though I was like 8 years old, and she would be talking about divorce and suicide and things like that, I knew exactly what she was talking about. And I don't know how I knew because I was so young, but I did. Also, Whoopi Goldberg was another one because she was a dark-skinned Black person, and I grew up being told that dark-skinned Black people couldn't be successful or in television, And so, even though she was a woman, I just related to her because her and I were the same color. And then also my mom, even though we don't have we could have a much better relationship because she still, as I have gotten older, had to endure and overcome a lot of her own personal issues to raise me. So, witnessing that type of strength, no matter what our relationship is, definitely has had an impact and taught me how to be a survivor.
That is awesome. Oh, that's awesome. I agree with you for Whoopi Goldberg. She is, I, she is the epitome. That's all I can say. She's the blueprint. She's
Yeah.
accomplished almost everything, and she's done it her way. She's done it by remaining true to who she is, and I give her props for not conforming to what Hollywood wanted her to be, what Hollywood wanted her to look like, and her success is incredible. And I'm just, like I said, she's the blueprint. It's just right there. So love it, love it. All right, going on to the number 10 question. We just, as we just mentioned, you had such an amazing career. But what's been some of the most rewarding moments you experienced in your career, and what's been some of the most difficult?
Oh, that's a great question. So some of the most rewarding moments of my career have been some of the people that I have met on the road. Also, it's, I don't know, it's really been a weird dance because, being a Black gay entertainer, especially coming into this bit, and I can't complain. There were some folks who were out before I was. You had like Corwin Hawkins, and you had who was on this movie called A Low Down Dirty Shame, and he was a drag queen and also a comedian back in the 80s and 90s, and this is a Black drag queen who is performing on Def Comedy Jam. And so he passed in 1994 of AIDS. But I would have really appreciated having an opportunity to hear some of Corwin's stories, because I know my own personal stories, being someone who's been in this business for 20 years. And starting when I started, I had a lot of challenges because a lot of the clubs were not booking gay entertainers. They were telling us, nobody wanted to see us. They were telling us we couldn't sell tickets. I mean, and dealing with racism in the industry as well. I mean, you know, I've been on the road and I've gone out and I've done shows where people have stood up, white folks have stood up and called me a nigger because I was talking about racism on stage. I did a show in Michigan where some white supremacists showed up to the show, you know. Um, and so juggling all that with emotional, like the emotional turmoil that can come along with it for most of my career, not having a partner, so when you don't have anybody that close to you that you can say, hey babe, this is really,
Right.
a lot to it, it's been lonely. It has been challenging, but it's been rewarding in just when I'm like, well, why do I keep doing this? And even those moments where I think we all have, where we sometimes question and I'm not religious, but where we sometimes question, who am I to do this thing that I'm doing? What makes me so special to be able to show up and do this, or be seen and be heard, or be paid what I know that I am worth? All those different things stem from not feeling worthy. And I believe, and I have been shown over and over again, that when God gives you something to give to the world, it is your obligation to do it in its fullness.
Yes.
The only obligation that you have, in addition to basking in your own excellence, is encouraging other people to see theirs.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of this journey has been about. I have learned that I have a huge knack for naturally inspiring people because of things that I've had to overcome. And, I find that leaning more into that, in addition to embracing my talent, has been where my focus has needed to be. So it's been about being a great comedian. I'm a really great comedian. It's been about being a fantastic filmmaker and writer, which I am, but it's also been about, celebrating that while also encouraging people to not sleep on what God has given you. Don't doubt yourself. So many of us, we have that tape playing in our head because we had a parent who wanted us to do what they wanted us to do and not acknowledge our own God-given talents. We are some folks who we don't think we look good enough. We don't think we're smart enough. We don't think we have the tools that we need. And all those things are a lie. And, and those are lies that we tell ourselves. And that has been the core of my journey, really taking that on. Oh my God. What is going on?
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I think that, a lot of us, we get stuck in why we can't and why we shouldn't, as opposed to why we are called to do it, and knowing that life is going to come with its challenges, but we have to keep our eyes on the destination. And that sounds a lot easier saying it, but it's something that I really practice every day, and it's not easy. Some of these days whoop my ass, Simone.
I hear you. I hear you.
But it's about being able to learn to be your best friend.
Yes.
I'm not sure the type of voice that you were parented with, or any of the listeners were parented with, but a lot of us are really tough critics on ourselves. And I find that we have to grow into learning how to be our own best friend. And so when you do a performance, or when you write something, or when you try to do an audition, or when you have a date that doesn't go so good, or whatever it is, instead of going, oh, I'm so stupid, or I'm this or that, you got to be able to talk to yourself and say, hey boo, you're gonna be all right. You still look good tonight.
Right.
I'm proud of you, and I find that when you start to do that, you grow in this beautiful place of gratitude and love, as opposed to this place of fear and anxiety of, oh my God, what if I don't do this? So I know it's been a bit long-winded of an answer, and I usually do not talk this much, but I'm enjoying talking to you so much, and you done struck on some things that I'm very passionate about that I just really have to say that maybe that's been the most rewarding part of my journey, is overcoming my own fears and being able to assure other people that it's not always easy, but it's necessary and possible. And we got to keep giving that light to each other, especially people who share similar stories as we all do, being Black, being, Black women, being Black gay men, being Black trans, whatever, that we can do this, and we're called to do amazing things. And lastly, again, those moments when I'm like, why am I doing this? The physical manifestations of those things have been like meeting. I met all the greats before they passed.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of them have told me to keep going. Each one of them have, told me what I have is special, or that they enjoyed working with me. And, I reminded them of some other great entertainer who they knew. So, these are people like Robin Williams, from Mrs. Doubtfire and Hook and Patch Adams and all those films. Also Chadwick Boseman. I met so many of the greats. And even the living great. So, I apologize for being long-winded, but I've been in this business for 20 years and I have overcome a lot of shit to be able to sit here and talk to you.
And then it's amazing. Honestly, your story is incredible. And I'm just that much more honored and happy that you're like on my show. It's just, it's powerful, and it's definitely going to connect with a lot of folks for sure. And it definitely resonates with me because I definitely, have my own struggles as well. And so it's nice to feel understood. So
yes.
Definitely, it's nice to feel understood. So
yes. And you're going to be fine. You're here. And and I just, if you would have, if I would have answered your question directly, it would have been just like, oh, I'm still here. I'm still doing it. And I met a lot of legends, but it's a lot bigger than that, Simone. And it really, the core piece of what I was talking to you about is just overcoming that inner turmoil, that we have, and those lies that we tell ourselves, and that fear that we have to overcome every day. That's what the answer really was speaking to. And so I admire you for doing what you're doing. And it's just really important that we do what we do.
Absolutely. And you're right, it is. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now I know everyone remembers, I said I've never done this before, but number 4 question was going to be saved for last, just because I know that, myself and Mr. McCormick are going to have a lot of, to say about it, but we'll definitely try to wrap this up. But for the last question, Hollywood is slowly but surely getting better at showing LGBTQIA representation on screen, but they still seem hesitant to do movies about Black queer love. In your opinion, why do you think Hollywood is still hesitant to show these types of films?
Well, Hollywood itself, the structure of Hollywood is resistant to it, because Hollywood is very lily white.
yes, it is. We're not going to lie and pretend like it's not. You're right.
It's very lily white. It's very and that's all right. They can do that. Very La La Land, very all those classic white movies. And it's not, Hollywood is going to be what it is. It's what it is. We cannot keep going to the Emmys and the Oscars expecting them to acknowledge our genius.
Oh, so true.
What is happening is that more of us are learning the importance of working with each other, of acknowledging each other's genius, and really stepping out and not waiting for anybody to give us permission to tell our stories. And as the history of box office entertainment has proven, is that every time a Black person stands up and fearlessly tells an authentic story, or a story of a comedy or fantasy or some Afrofuturism, which I'm gonna do an Afrofuturist film, um, or a Black gay person tells a story that they really sit down and really pour themselves into, or some Black women get together, they always blow it away at the box office.
Yep.
Always. You look at Girls Trip, it was #1 forever. You look at
Yep.
the NWA story. I forget what the name of that movie is right
Yep.
off the top of my head, but it #1. You look at Moonlight. This is a Black gay film, #1, and won the Oscar.
Yes, it did.
Precious. I mean, any Black film that has come out, even like the ones that we play around with, like Roscoe Jenkins and shit, be going #1.
Right? Just for the hell of it, just to be spiteful.
So I think that we really undervalue our own stories as a community, because we wait for our independent artists to win Emmys and things like that, and that's doing the biggest disservice. But to directly answer your question, it's mostly because Hollywood itself does not see the value in our films, nor equate financial gain, which everything in this business is based on that, because they don't understand our stories, they don't understand our narratives, and because they don't understand it, they don't equate any worth with it. And that's really what it comes down to. So more of us have to keep, producing our own work, networking. Issa Rae is a great example of that.
Yep.
Just really doing the work of telling those stories, and realizing when you do that, that's what people want to see, especially if it's really good, which most of the time it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right. You're right. The work speaks for itself. Girls Trip, Straight Outta Compton. That's what you were thinking of. That's the
Straight
movie.
Outta Compton, yes.
Straight Outta Compton, and I love that movie. So I loved it. I was happy that that it was critically acclaimed. So, but you're right. There's so much value and so much richness and just in our stories that we need to really take pride in it, honestly.
Lean in it. And I mean, even Medea be going #1, like a Black dude acting like an old lady with a gun, running in the street doing cartwheels. I mean, come on. You can talk trash about Tyler Perry, but the fact that he can dress up and act like an old lady with a gun in her purse and go #1, I mean, come on.
That says a lot. Right?
Yeah.
It does. It says a lot. And it's not just him, it's Martin Lawrence done it too, and so has Eddie Murphy. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You were so right. Mr. McCormick, it has been an absolute pleasure to be able to speak with you. Your story really is just beautiful, powerful, and heartbreaking all at once. And I'm so glad you were able to be here and share your story with me.
I'm happy that we got to sit down and do this, and I'm happy that our listeners here were able to listen and hopefully connect and get some laughter and some inspiration and insight. And I just appreciate you, and I appreciate the J Lounge.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate you too. I appreciate everyone for listening, and I want to highly encourage my audience one more time. Please, please go and support, follow, like, love, whatever you need to do. Make sure you guys get to know and learn more about Samson McCormick's work. He's incredible. Like he said, he's been in this business for 20 years and has so much recognition and just so much critical acclaim. critical acclaim work to him. So everyone, please make sure you go follow him on all social media and just support him, and just make sure you just check out his work, because it's incredible. But I do want to thank everyone for listening in. I do want to thank my amazing guest, Mr. McCormick, one more time. Of course, you guys know I have been the hostess with the mostest, Miss J. I will be
and
back
soon to be
Uh-huh.
NAACP Image Award winner, Miss J.
I am coming for it. We are coming for it. I want it.
Hey
I want it
now,
so bad. Oh my gosh, I want it so bad. So yes, I
you
agree.
don't want it, you got to claim it. You got it.
I
You
got
know.
it. Yes. As he just said, just beautifully said, future NAC, sorry, NCAAP award a winner, Miss J.
That's
Everyone,
right.
please come back for another great episode of the J Lounge. I will be back soon with another great episode. But until then, everyone have a beautiful evening. I'll be back. Bye.